Welcome to our kitchen. This is behind the scenes, literally, with Santa and Mrs. Claus. And today we're going to feature Mrs. Claus. You know, everybody asks, does she really do all the baking? Does she bake it all? And I gotta tell you, in addition to all her other duties as the CEO of the North Pole, which is the chief elf organizer, she's also a baker, and she works with Denny Sweet Tooth. You know,
Cocoa Nice and Hot.
Cocoa Nice and Hot, and all the other elves. But she does a lot of baking just for Santa. So we're going to show you a little bit about some of the things that she does do and see what you people think. So, Mrs. Claus, it's your kitchen. Why don't you take it away?
Well, again, we thought we'd do something a little fun today. And obviously this is not everything I bake, but I do this a lot. I make all of our sandwich bread from scratch. And then this is French bread, which we use to make, wonderful, French toast.
Oh, yeah,
French toast and
croutons. I
Yeah.
use it for so many different things, and it's just wonderful. And she's got a little secret on this. She makes a big batch of this.
Yes, I do. It actually makes, the recipe calls for 2 large loaves of French bread, but I like to make it into 4 smaller ones because for us it just works out a little bit better. And
something this size works a whole lot better than a
great big one.
Because you know.
Well, especially since I make the sandwich bread, because we use this obviously for all of our sandwiches. Yeah. And then I make breakfast muffins. These right now just happen to be blueberry muffins.
I gotta show them that. I mean, oh my gosh, talk about. When she makes blueberry muffins, folks, I'm telling you, we are talking about.
Lots of blueberries.
Look at the whole batter. Oh, there goes one. The whole batter is covered in blueberries. So, I mean, I can't get enough of these.
And then I do cookies. And one of the things I like to do, because, recipes for cookies calls for a fair amount, at least a dozen or more. And I found that if I make the full dozen, as much as some people might think, we don't actually sit down and eat a whole dozen of cookies at once. So even over a few days, sometimes the cookies tend to get stale and not so nice. So what I try and do is to choose recipes like these chocolate chip cookies, which actually what I do is I make a few and cook them the day I bake them or make them, but then I also go ahead and I freeze them. So like right now.
Yeah, I mean, look at, these are just the little, she does individual balls. Mm-hmm. They freeze beautifully.
Beautiful.
And then when we're ready, ta-da! There they are, and they are, so gooey and crispy.
Yeah.
And wonderful.
And of course, the nice thing is that you literally have fresh baked cookies, but you haven't gone to all the trouble of trying to make fresh dough every time you cook. And I've actually had, this obviously is a chocolate chip, but I've had a lot of good success with other cookie recipes as well. And
now, the secret.
Yeah.
Show them the secret.
Well, one of the things I have is these cooking bowls. These 2 lighter colored bowls. This is from the 1860s from my family. And this is also from about 1850 actually. This is a little older. And then this is a new one that the elves gave me in a nice bright red, so I use this as well.
They picked it up in Germany.
Yeah.
They stuck it in my sleigh and they said, take this back to Mrs. Claus and tell her to bake us something.
Yeah.
So we've been using it ever since, and that was several years, many years ago now, but
And
not as old as the old.
They've had a lot of love and wear, but I love, these are particularly what I use to make my breads in. And it just gives me great joy to know that generations of my family before me used these to cook in the kitchen. And of course, then everything starts with my handy dandy KitchenAid. So
now, I'm sure a lot of you go, wow, what's some of your recipes and stuff? If you would like to know some of Mrs. Claus's recipes, send us an email.
yes, and you can email me at mary@thenorthpolepress.com. Don't forget thenorthpolepress.com. And I will be glad to respond to your emails. And of course, as always, please let us know what you think. But let us know in particular in this. We've obviously done something quite different than what we normally do. And if you all like it,
I can show you how I cook.
I was just going to say, I could maybe persuade Santa into making us a couple of his dishes, because I think we've mentioned before that I, of course, do the baking and he does the actual cooking. Yeah, and he's a wonderful chef. So
we would invite you into our kitchen more
Yes.
often and show you some
Absolutely.
neat things that
Yeah.
we like to do.
Uh-huh.
So let us know what you think and what you'd like to see us make.
Yes,
I mean,
absolutely.
because she can bake anything, and I pretty well can cook anything. So
That's
if you've
right,
got something
yeah.
in particular you'd like to know about, drop us an email or ask
let
us
us know.
a question in the comments.
Absolutely.
And of course, please subscribe to our channel. And we'll do more interesting videos like this one
Yeah.
that are a little different than what we've done in the past. But still staying behind the scenes with Santa and Mrs. Claus. So,
See you later.
see you on the tip.
Bye-bye.
Bye.